Aloha, Dr. Heather Tucker here, and welcome to another episode of Taste and See Thursdays. Today, I want to talk to you about something that is really essential, especially in what's happening in the world. There's a lot of chaos. There can be a lot of chaos happening in your world, and I want to be able to share with you on how to best respond to it. So, the question that I have for you is what do you do when you feel or you are attacked? Now, I'm not talking about physical attacks, that's a whole different ballgame, but I'm talking about like energetic, mental, and emotional attacks. It could come from people, places, things, situations, circumstances. However, it can show up in your world. A lot of times it can be from even the people who are the closest to you, right? Or it could be like in not only in personal life, but also in business. Maybe there's an unhappy client, an unhappy customer. And it is the power of your response, the power of how you respond that makes all the difference. So, first of all, let's talk about what happens when there is an attack. When there's an attack, like I'm talking about, it can take us down energetically. It can probably cause a lot of spiraling down of the thoughts and emotions. And what that does, especially if it stays there, it can create fear of rejection, fear of uncertainty, fear of shining again. And we want to be able to change that. So, I'm going to share with you three secrets on how to really be able to overcome these attacks, regardless of where they're coming from. The first one, I want you to recognize that attacks usually have nothing to do with you. Let me repeat that. A lot of times they have nothing to do with you, but what is going on underneath with the other person. I used to work in customer service and I did customer service for 18 years. And people would actually call in to the lines of where I was working at the time, and they would already be angry. They would already be ready to just let it all out on me. But I didn't do anything to them. It was just what they were dealing with in their own world. So a majority of the attacks, they have nothing to do with you and everything to do with what's going on in the situation that may not be in your control. And the reason why I want to say this is because when there is an attack and it can take us down, we can take it personally. The unconscious mind, which is like 90% of your brain, will take this attack personally. And I'm here to let you know that you can actually break free from that and not even take it in to your energy and your mindset. You can be able to empathize and figure out the best way to respond in the most appropriate way for you, but not get triggered by it. See, here's what happens when someone pushes, right? Like our natural tendency is to push back. And what I want to share with you is think about it like this: when someone pushes, how do we stand firm, not push back, and really see underneath what's really going on? And that is empowerment. That is essentially empowerment because when we take it on, it can become this pain, it can become this heavy weight inside. And it's what we do with the pain that determines what it becomes. Let me repeat that again. It's what you do with the pain that determines what it becomes. So, for example, say there's an attack, and then all of a sudden we're operating out of this. Like we take the pain and we turn it to be able to do an action. Whatever that action is, if it's coming out of the energy of the pain, it's going to probably create more pain. So really, ideally, it'd be good to not take it on at all, recognizing that it has everything to do with what's going on with the other person, nothing to do with you. But if you're in that situation where it can be like this wave, it can be like, I don't know what to do next. We want to be able to break free from that and step into operating out of this place like, I appreciate you for being a beautiful human being. I appreciate you for being a wonderful beam of light, even if you're not wanting to play with it in the moment. Right. And then recognizing that, the question that you want to ask yourself is, did I do the best I could? If you did the best that you could, you're doing the best that you can. Recognize that you are human. We are not human doings, we're human beings. So, the perfectionism, no one is perfect, no one has it all together. We're not really supposed to. We're actually supposed to be okay with where we are and take the steps and get the support to know where we're going. I also want to let you know that if this is something that's still impacting you, right? So we can't change what happens, what attack comes. We can change how we respond to it. And the response, even when it is about creating healthy boundaries with love, that's something that's important. Like, hey, this is something where you understand it, where you're trying to figure it out. But if it's still something that's kind of seeding in your spirit, in your thoughts and emotions, we want to be able to pluck that out, even from the root, because what happens is it can create these patterns of rejection, of misunderstood, of judgment and persecution. And when we operate with the weight of that, then how we move forward still has that weight. But when we break free from it and recognize one of the keys to how successful people operate that I share in my communication mind mastery certification, which you're going to want to check out, is that we are just doing the best that we can with the resources that we have available. And when we learn better, we do better, right? And recognize even where the attacks came from. They're just doing the best that they can with the resources that they have available. And maybe they haven't learned better so that they can do better. And that's okay. There lies the process of life. We don't have to have a great past to have a great future. We can actually recreate and restore and reset ourselves each and every day, not just at the beginning of the year to set the tone for a year, but what if you could have a new year, a new day every day? And that's what it's about. Being able to figure out how to be able to learn from what was, step into what is, and really have that expanded vision for what's totally possible. Because when you feel this attack that could come in the future, then it doesn't take you down. You're just like, oh, that's interesting. And it could be like a wave that rolls by, right? So this is essentially business and life harmony 101. And if this is something that you were intrigued about, I invite you to take a look at the link in the comments below and take a look at communication mind mastery, because that is essentially what I teach. I teach how to improve your energy, your mindset, your emotional intelligence, and your action plan so that you can bring new clients into your business, so that you can charge what you're worth, so that you can create your own and time, money, and emotional freedom to be more present with your loved ones, and so much more. Because when there's no enemy or conflict within, then nothing externally can touch you. So let me just say, like, when there's this attack that happens, if there's anything that connects with it inside, then it'll probably create it where, like, you take on the blame, like it's your fault or what's going on. But when there's nothing inside for it to connect to, then you can see it for what it really is, about the patterns and the ways of thinking and emotions from the people who had created the attack. So yes, people are I was going to say, can places attack things? No, not really. Usually it comes from people, right? And the essence of it is relationships. Create new relationships, first with yourself, first with God, yourself, and then others. And then everything will be beautiful. Even in the hills and valleys, you can stay calm and centered no matter what. Let me know in the chat what's your biggest takeaway from today's message. And I look forward to seeing you again next Thursday for another Taste and See. Peace.